So let's talk about some actions to take to like really, my goal is that, for you guys to be able to apply things into your implementation, into your business. So what are your steps towards, an insightful and an actionable, Sitecore platform? One of the things that, I think every customer has of Sitecore is also a Google Analytics account. I always advise that you run both because they both do two separate different things, but you also integrate them. So one thing that's really important is like you take your Sitecore campaigns, and I'm not sure if inside Sitecore if you played with this area, but this is it's a very simple area of Sitecore called Sitecore Campaigns, and what it does is you give it a name, you give it some timing, and you give it some classification, and it gives you this little SC camp code, right? Like imagine like your UTM codes, and you just append it to the end of the URL, www.name.com/scamp equals this random code. You can mask that, of course, and make it pretty. But what you can do is also like put your UTM data into Sitecore, have Sitecore communicate with your GTM tags on your site, your data layer. So Sitecore is actually telling Google, here's a UTM code. And then now they're talking to each other, right? And now what you can easily do, because I know you guys you have to be running campaigns right now, right? And so even if it's like social media posts and you have UTM on there, you're missing out on all this data you can freely capture into your Sitecore ecosystem. And then, Sitecore has an easy rule in their system that says if the user was a part of this campaign, or if the, and that's that SE camp code. And that's how you can really quickly drive personalization. And so configure Sitecore campaigns with UTM, build engagement value scale across the platform. So engagement value scale, you probably heard Sitecore talk about it. Your business might have talked about it. You might have it configured, maybe not. Most people don't. But the idea is you're giving your platform a currency, and as your users are interacting, taking actions, you're defining how valuable they are to your business to align to your strategic goals. So if you think about, this is a typical B2B engagement value scale. The platform's mission is, the reason we bought Sitecore was to increase revenue, right? With our website, the objectives are we need to increase our conversions, awareness of our product offerings, and we want to know who our audiences are, right? And so then you get this triangle, this engagement value scale, where I have my lowest values on the bottom and I have my highest value. And this is oversimplifying here, but basically at the request, the demo level, you can give 50 points, 100 points of currency to a user. At the sign up for newsletter, you can get 5 points. And the scale allows you to go back to all your efforts, or even down to a piece of content, and understand how valuable this content is to these objectives and mission that you have. And it allows you to create productivity in terms of your content, in terms of your content goals. And when you think about a lot of the systems that exist, what I like about Sitecore's engagement value scale is, if you're using something like lead scoring coming out of Salesforce or Marketo, it is engagement at one channel. Sitecore can give you a currency based on your entire digital experience, the entire platform. So in a previous session, we showed how do you actually go into Sitecore and deploy a goal. In terms of profiling your content, this is an area that we do a lot of assistance with our clients, where we actually going through, do a content audit, check the health of the system, and we start to break that into a personalization taxonomy that we can give to the system so that the system can start personalizing experiences when those people trigger those behaviors. Again, like I showed you before, it can get really tedious, but it's very important to do because, again, it's free data. You don't have to pay for it. And then build and deploy those profiles for your content, and then do so at the customer stakeholder level. So what I mean by that is, over here, I have a profile card that I'm doing at the content level. I'm giving content data. I don't know lifestyle or value or goals or blockers around this content, but I can also define profiling around an individual, like we talked about before, this 360-degree view, right? Basics, goals, blockers, lifestyles, and values. Sorry, jumping around here. And then lastly, build and deploy the reports to view your data. So Sitecore, out of the box in Sitecore Analytics, they have like pattern matches where it can easily show you, all your different audiences that match with specific patterns. So you can see trends, maybe a certain industry or a certain product offering is moving in a certain direction. But other views that you can use are things like Path Analyzer, where you're taking an audience or a profile key, like I want to see what all my brokers are doing, versus I want to see all the different paths clients have taken, versus, I want to see everyone that's in a small living space like New York City in an apartment looking for a baby crib and what paths they're taking. So these are where you can get intelligence and get insight from that data.